you got it?
What?
Look what I got.
Oh, it's a wee wooden box.
It's a cool wooden box. I don't know, I was at the shop and I was just drawn to it, you know. I needed to pick it up and buy it.
Well, what can we use it? I mean, can I keep my used matches on it?
Well, no, because I can't actually open it, so I was thinking more kind of ornamental, just there.
Just there.
Aye.
Well, fair enough. But I was having a wee kip there. I was wondering if you fancied joining me for some afternoon delight.
You mean a wee afternoon nap?
Kind of.
Come on.
Yo, what's happened to the covers? Oh, yeah, I'm going for a pish. Oh, Jesus, what an odd day. Still gorgeous though.
Look what was in the box!
Resident Evil.
Over the years, Resident Evil has gotten bigger and more action-packed and further away from the kind of survival horror games that it started out as. But me and Scott have always felt a wee bit okay with this. We're okay with the change, aren't we?
For me, I mean, I'll be honest, let's be straight now. I'm not any good at horror games. I can't play them, they're too scary for me. So, I mean, it must be quite damning that I can admit that I've completed Resident Evil 4, 5 and 6. Because it's obviously, they're not very scary anymore. But I've enjoyed them. Things have to evolve and move on, and not every new thing works. I don't think anyone's going to play this game and think, oh, it's a 10 out of 10 game. But it's ambitious, and I don't think that's something that should be penalised.
Right, I need to tell you, this is important. See, when Resident Evil 5 came out, me and Scott loved it. We know that it was a bit of a disappointment to the fans of the series, but we loved it because we played through the entire game in one weekend with 2 tellies in co-op, and that's the way it's meant to be played, and it was amazing. So, we've been looking forward to this game, Resident Evil 6 coming out, despite all the negative reviews, despite all the negative feedback from the fans. And you know what? I'm glad to say that the game is not pish. One of the things that Capcom have tried to do with this game is they've made it easier to play. Everything's been streamlined to the point of just to make it a less of an annoyance. You can always see where you're going to go by holding L2 to show you the way to go. It even helps you solve some puzzles at some point. You can move and shoot at the same time. You know, all these things that you could never do before in Resident Evil, but now you can do them, and that's what people are moaning about. But these are the things that I think are actually good things about the game, and we'll come to what I don't like about the game.
I remember one level in particular in Chris's campaign where I think I killed at least 100 zombies, and that's probably more than you killed in the whole of Resident Evil 1 and 2. That's a lot. I think what Capcom have done is they've embraced an awful lot about kind of modern games here. So you've got your co-op, which we had in the last game, you've got multiple campaigns, different viewpoints, you've got cover-based shooting, with not the best, let's be honest, it's not the best cover-based shooting anyone's ever had, but you can see what they're trying.
One of the things that I would say is a bit of a flaw is how big it is. Like, it's got 3 different campaigns, an extra 4th one when you complete it, and it takes so long to get through one campaign, let alone all 4. And also, because you're playing through this different characters going through the same scenario, there's a wee bit of repetition throughout the game, and that's when things start getting annoying. It's not the system in the game, it's not the way the game plays, it's the scenarios you go through can get a wee bit tedious and a bit tiresome sometimes.
There's quite a lot going on, it's not always extremely focused, and it's hard to boil down. Resident Evil 4 you can say, right, Leon goes to save the president's daughter, encounters some arseholes. In Resident Evil 5,
ethnic cleansing.
Oh goodness. But yeah, like, well, two people kill Africa,
yeah,
and then set Wesker on fire. Whereas Resident Evil 6, you think, God, there's a lot to it. But again, I mean, it seems like folk are penalising Capcom for giving you too much. It's a bit like, I was going to use another food thing there, but it's a bit like going to a buffet and shouting because you're allowed a certain plate. all you can eat buffet, and they're like, oh, we'll give you can have some more food, and you're like, fuck off, mate, I've had enough, Phil. They're like, it's all you can eat, and you're like, no, I've had a piece. Resident Evil 6 is an odd game. It's a game that's maybe a bit too familiar for some people out there. There's a lot of cover-based shooting. There's a lot of things out there that you've played before. There's a lot of things that are just like, what was that? There's a lot of Uncharted in there this time, and that's not a bad thing. The Uncharted games are some of the best games that you might play out there at the moment, but maybe in a survival horror game it feels a wee bit out of place. But Resident Evil 6, it still feels like its own game. It still feels unique. I can understand why some of the fans think it's maybe a bit bloated. Maybe there's too many characters. Maybe some of the missions are a bit too long, and there's a wee bit of repetition as well. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the idea of horror on a global scale.
It's a game that's really easy to love. Like, the president's a zombie. Like, that's just a great. Not only that, everybody's a fucking zombie. Like,
And I called that'd been the subtitle of the game.
yeah, one of my favourite like sections in the game is during Leon's campaign, which I think's the best that I've played in game.
Yeah,
during Leon's campaign, you're in the plane, and then the pilot's a zombie.
That's a zombie.
It's like everybody turns into a zombie. The pilot's a zombie. The head of national security, oh, he's a zombie.
There's a lot of times that I've found myself laughing at what's been going on. Like, I mean, there's bits later on in Chris's campaign where you're pretty much shooting against what look like the bad guys for Killzone. Things like that are quite funny, blowing off a guy's head and he dies, but the body doesn't realise it, so he goes into cover and then disintegrates and things like that. Things like that happen and it's funny. I mean, no, I don't think anyone's going to come to the end of this year and say Game of the Year is Resident Evil 6. That's the way of things. But that doesn't mean you can't have fun playing it, and that's what me and Joe have had with this.
Yeah, and I think what we can take away from it is that it's a lot of fun, but there's a lot wrong with it at the same time, and that makes it a good game, but not a great game. It's not up there Resident Evil 4, and it never will be, but it's still a good game.
Exactly.
What is this evil?
There's only one thing we can do with it. Cleanse it with fire.
Scott, you're looking kind of warm and fashionable there. What's that you're wearing?
This is my Resident Evil 6 exclusive hoodie.
Oh, very
Look at that.
What does it do?
What does it do? It keeps you warm when you're cold, keeps you company when you're lonely, makes you aroused when you're tired.
Is there anything it doesn't do?
It doesn't tell time. There's nothing. Look.
Well, listen, that's where this comes in. This Resident Evil 6 watch tells you the time.
Wow, what time is it?
It's 10 to 10 in the morning, apparently.
Really? I think it's competition time.
Yes, it is. And if you want to look as fashionable, Scott, and as useful as me with my watch, all you need to do is enter our competition on Twitter. Just want to tell them what to do.
That's right. All you need to go is head over to Twitter. There'll be a wee link below us here. And all you need to do is tell us in one tweet what you would do come the zombie apocalypse.
And me and Scott are going to look at all the entries, and the one that we think, or the three,
Because we've got 3 hoodies and we've got 3 watches.
the 3 that we think will survive the longest will get a hoodie and a watch each.
That's right. What would you do, Joe, during the zombie apocalypse? What would be your strategy?
I'd be a bit rubbish at it because I'm rubbish at shooting games in general, so I think I just have to run away and hope to God that nobody gets me.
Do you know what I would do? Do you hear my and Deb's strategy? I'd get a gun, right, load it, and just... Remember, enter the competition. And what do you need to keep doing, Joe?
You need to keep bit socking.
Damn right.